The Western Cape spring tides have caused minor damage to the Garden Route National Park, but the reserve says it's business as usual and the park has been reopened. South African National Parks Week has also kicked off, allowing free access to national parks countrywide. And eNCA reporter Theodor Mashele caught up with SANParks officials on the sidelines of the launch of the Kruger National Park.
Well, SANParks Week has finally kicked off, in which people can come through into any of the SANParks and enjoy their parks. And one of the beautiful things about the parks is just really getting out in the air, out in nature, enjoying the beautiful scenery, but also not to mention the kind of education that people can get just by going on a game drive. I know I just went on a game drive in the morning at 5 a.m. When animals are out to play. Well, some of them are grazing, some of them are out to hunt, but that is one of the hours where animals are out, and which is one of the things that I learned during my SANParks visit during this SANParks Week. But I am with Mr. Ray Takuli, who is from SANParks and is going to tell me a bit more about this week. Mr. Takuli, I've learned this week about the importance of preserving nature. Can you please speak a bit about that?
Of course, it's quite good that we preserve our natural heritage as well as our cultural heritage within our national parks. We've got about 21 national parks in 7 provinces of our country, of course with the exception of KwaZulu-Natal as well as Northwest provinces. But what comforts us is the fact that the Northwest province, through the Northwest Parks and Tourism Board, as well as the Limpopo Tourism Agency, have actually taken this initiative also. So they will be opening their protected areas during this National Parks Week, and they call it a Mahala Week. So now the scope is quite huge. People can go to different areas and enjoy their time in these protected areas.
We love the fact that it's growing, especially because we do know that there are some people who just don't have access to go into these parks. So it is growing. Another thing that I wanted to ask you about is the recent storm surge in Tsitsikamma. I mean, we know that, that's one of the most beautiful parks we've got. So can you tell us about the storm surge, what happened and what's going on now?
The area was completely covered with a storm surge yesterday. And most of the people that were, especially those that were on trails, have been safely evacuated. We don't have any fatalities. The temporary resident structure that was operating there in Tsitsikamma National Park is currently underwater and is not accessible. But we're quite happy that the electricity has now been restored in the area. They now have communications and we're getting updates. This afternoon we had a helicopter flying over just to see the damage that has been caused, and we are still assessing the entire area. Some of the areas in the parks have been closed, but as you know that Tsitsikamma is actually a section of Garden Route National Park. So all the other sections, which is the Knysna Lake, as well as the wilderness section of the Kruger, of the Garden Route National Park, are fully operational, and those that will still want to come for SA National Parks Week, they must just bring their identity documents and they will get access into those national parks.
All right. I hope everything goes well there. I mean, we do need people to also in that site to be able to access that park. Thank you, Mr. Ray, there from SANParks, who just told us a bit about that surge, which is a natural disaster, and so there's nothing that really could have been done to prevent such a thing since it was unforeseen. But I do understand that everything is back in control there, and they are trying to put everything back together. But for such events or such weeks to happen, we do need people to back it up. And I have with me here from FNB Mr. Katlego here, who's going to tell us a bit more about the importance of backing such events. Katlego, thank you for speaking to us. As FNB, what is the reason for you guys to back such a thing as the free week for people to access the parks?
I think one thing to understand is that as a bank, we recognize that national heritage and natural pride is important for us. these parks sustain communities. These parks create jobs. These parks contribute to the well-being of society. They contribute to the economic growth of South Africa. So therefore it is important for us to participate. This relationship with SANParks is based on the understanding and the belief that we need to sustain wildlife, the belief that we need to sustain this natural beauty that we've got in South Africa. So it is quite key for us to be a player in this initiative.
All right. Thank you, Katleho. I mean, he cannot just emphasize enough on that. Even yesterday, we had Minister Barbara Creasy, who mentioned the fact that there are some people who have the parks right next to their doorstep, but they just can't have access to it for various reasons. Of course, the economy could be one of those. But I would encourage personally, after the experience that I have had here at Kruger, to say people should definitely get out there and experience their parks and learn about nature, and if anything else, just enjoy the beauty that is nature. Theodor Mashele, Mpumalanga.